achieved.
What up? What up? What's up? Welcome into Studio Day Heffery, everybody. It's nice to see you. Nice to have you here. Remember to subscribe to the page, youtube.com/Jeff Kavanaugh, and remember to leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow, and I'll try to take care of you. And I see you out there, Wrath89, trying to get a scouting report on the TCU running back. I see you. Hold on. I'll do it. Got other stuff going on. Topics today include, everybody thinks I hate Zeke, okay? The recipe to a Zeke career year. Got that for you. I'm going to do that for you. Question from one of you guys about the Cowboys receivers, who just wants kind of a scouting report on what's different and the strengths of each of these guys. Got that for you. And how many wins is Coach McCarthy and his new staff worth? Got that for you. Look at us go. We're having a good time. All right. Now, what we're going to start with is let's talk about Ezekiel Elliott for a minute. Now, the reason I bring this up is because it's something that I mentioned in yesterday's video, and then Pro Football Focus actually wrote about it today. So what they did is ranking the NFL's 32 starting running backs by elusiveness, right? And how do they define elusiveness? It's not just woo, 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 woo. How often does a running back force missed tackles on rushing attempts and receptions? How effective they are after contact, and how well they perform after the catch. So they're ranking the running backs based on that data. And number one in the entire league, and I believe the most underrated running back in the leagues, I've been trying to tell you guys, is Nick Chubb with the Cleveland Browns. I think he's the best runner in the league. But we remember where guys are drafted, and so Nick Chubb won't get that recognition unless they give him 50 more carries and he wins rushing titles, right? 5 yards per carry behind an average offensive line isn't good enough. It's not good enough for Nick Chubb to get the love that he deserves. But let's run down the list really quick and see where we get to Zeke, right? Nick Chubb is first. Josh Jacobs with the Raiders is second. Derrick Henry with the Titans is third. So as you can see, it's not just guys that are Barry Sanders type of deals. It's also Derrick Henry is one of only two running backs in the league to average at least 4 yards after contact per rush since 2017. It's him and Nick Chubb. And his 136 total missed tackles forced on the ground are 13 more than any other running back over that time frame. So you can break tackles in a couple of different ways. One, make a guy miss, and two, dump truck him through the earth like Derrick Henry will do once he gets a running start. Fourth on this list is Alvin Kamara. Fifth is Dalvin Cook. Sixth is Austin Eckler. Seventh is Saquon Barkley. Eighth is Chris Carson. In Seattle, 9th is Devin Singletary with the Bills. 10th is Aaron Jones with the Packers. 11th, James Conner with the Steelers. 12th, Kenyon Drake, Arizona Cardinals. 13th, Christian McCaffrey with the Panthers. 14th, Joe Mixon with the Bengals. 15th, Melvin Gordon with the Broncos. 16th, David Montgomery with the Bears. 17th, Raheem Mostert with the Niners. 18th, Le'Veon Bell with the Jets. 19th, Miles Sanders with the Eagles. 20th, Darius Geis with Washington. 21st, Mark Ingram with the Ravens. 22nd, Ezekiel Elliott, Dallas Cowboys. The only guys behind him that are primary runners on a team, they did one player per team, the guy who's going to get the most carries per team, are Todd Gurley, Leonard Fournette, Jordan Howard, Sony Michel, David Johnson. It's because there's 27. The other 5 are anticipated to start rookies, and so they're in their own separate category. So Zeke is towards the bottom of the list, and this is the thing that I talk about with Ezekiel Elliott. But now, the description about it and the good part about Zeke, which I think I've been pretty clear on, but they try to quantify it by saying broken tackle numbers for Zeke consistently below average. But what about what he does well? Consistently churn out positive runs, rarely gets stuffed for no gain, converts runs into first downs or touchdowns at one of the highest rates in the league. So for Pro Football Focus, he's their 7th highest graded runner since 2016. So their conclusion on him is kind of that running backs don't necessarily need to break tackles left and right to be effective. He's still able to be their 7th highest graded runner, but I don't care about their grades, right? We shouldn't care about their grades. If you watch the Cowboys, you have better grades than they do. So he's towards the bottom of the league on this list, and the hope for career year, I think, looks something like this. Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore now put Zeke in better positions to succeed. We've gone over this before, but his yards per carry and the Cowboys' yards per carry are at their best the less tight ends they have on the field. And I think it's going to be rare that the Cowboys put more than one tight end on the field this year. And I think that a lot of the times that one tight end will not be attached to the line of scrimmage, and that's the best thing you can do for the run game. Get your bad blocking matchups out of the way. Give space to your running back. So a couple of things have to happen for Zeke. And I also have to clarify what I mean by career year. I don't mean lead the league in rushing with 1,800 yards. I don't want my team to lead the league in rushing. I don't. I want my team to effectively run the ball at the right time. My career year for Zeke is 12 to 1,300 yards on 5 yards a carry. That's what I'm looking for. Get 5 yards a carry. And how do you do that? Schematically. And then the second part would be, even though the training camp situation will be strange this year in terms of preparation, is no Cabo, full camp, in shape, ready to rock. My worry is the Gavin Dawson train where he's like, oh, the end is near for Zeke. Yes, part of my brain is like, you never get back the natural ability to be in shape and explosive that you had in your early 20s as you get older, especially if you're not actively working towards it every day. But the Zeke career year is totally possible. More 11 personnel, more of the tight end away from the line of scrimmage, be in the best shape you can when the season starts, because I felt like he was one of the better runners in the league the second half of last year, and the first half of last year, he definitely wasn't. So if you're in peak condition, if the team puts you in the best situation to succeed, they rank the Cowboys as the second best offensive line in terms of creating yards for your running back last year. So the line is doing their part. To be at 4.5 yards per carry, it's not good enough in today's NFL to justify continually handing the ball off when you're getting over 7 yards per attempt throwing the ball. But that's my non-Zeke hate segment. In prime shape, coach helps him out, and he's able to refine that ability to not just be a forward-falling churner of a running back who avoids negative plays, but you got to go one of two ways with this. Either you got to refine some of that elusiveness that he had at Ohio State, or fully commit to going full Derrick Henry, where it's, hey, I'm running people over. I'm stiff-arming you through planet Earth. I think that works better for Henry, though, because he's got the long arms where he can kind of bow. So part of it's on Zeke, part of it's on the coaching staff, but I do think the potential for it exists. So there. If you think I hate Zeke, I helped you out. But don't be afraid to give it to Pollard more. Okay? Let's do the Cowboy receivers next, because I had somebody leave in the comments. Let me see. Corey Akerson. Can you talk about the difference between our wideouts and what they all bring individually? A lot of people commenting on the last video on how the Zeke slander has to stop. Nah. It's not slander. I hate paying running backs. I wouldn't pay Christian McCaffrey unless he wants $6 million a year. Okay, the difference between our wideouts. This one's fun because I enjoy the scouting part of football. So, start with Amari Cooper. What does Amari Cooper bring? Good speed. Not great, but very good speed. I believe he was a 4.42 guy coming out. So, the dude can run, and he's one of the best route runners in football. In terms of watching his feet when it's time to release off the line of scrimmage, he's hard to stop from getting a release because his foot fire is incredible. He's able to get guys turned the way he wants to. He sets guys up in his routes so well, and he's really good after catch because of that initial quickness and that speed. So he's got a lot of the things you want in a great receiver. I think the only thing that Amari Cooper is missing is the consistency isn't always there, and I think part of that is he just doesn't have the best hands or the best catch radius. He'll make some good catches, but a ball up here or a ball out here that's kind of full extension of your arms, he's not one of the best in the league in terms of his hands. But I would rather you be able to get open than have the best hands, as long as your hands are acceptable. And his certainly are. So with Amari Cooper, explosive route running, ability to get separation. That's where he shines. And then after the catch, very good. Michael Gallup is much different from Amari Cooper, but I think he's similar in that there's a reason the Cowboy wide receivers were, if they didn't lead the league, they were very close to leading the league in drops, where Michael Gallup's radius is okay, and he's got this ability to play through contact and make contested catches, and so he kind of shines there, and he's got a physical toughness. He's kind of tough to play in press coverage because he can just power through it. He's not the same technician that Amari Cooper is, but he will fight you on a football field. And it's the same thing, when you're running slant routes, like sometimes he'll body catch, sometimes he'll double catch. So he doesn't have the best hands, but he's a solid route runner. He's solid down the field. He's solid. He's solid at everything. That's what Michael Gallup is, and that's what I liked about him at Colorado State is there wasn't a glaring weakness. If I had to give you the biggest weakness for Michael Gallup, I would probably, just like Amari Cooper, say hands. He doesn't have the most natural hands in the league. He'll always have some drops and some double catches. But decent at separation, solid after the catch just because of the power and the aggressiveness that he plays with. Good on deep balls despite not being a burner. He's one of those guys that's just like football player. That's what he is. And then CeeDee Lamb, out of the three, I actually think he's the most gifted. Yeah. He doesn't have Amari Cooper's quickness and foot fire, but nobody in college was able to play him in press. He's a good technician. He understands leverage in the position. He has the best hands of this receiver group. He has the best catch radius of this receiver group. You can make bad throws to CeeDee Lamb, and he'll make it okay. He'll go get it with one hand way out here. He'll do whatever. And we'll have to see how his after catch translates to the NFL, because there are bad players in college football, and you'll get to break more tackles in college than you will in the NFL. But his balance, his ability to go from top speed to stop and go in a different direction, his wiggle after catch, his power after catch. Have you seen his workout videos lately on CeeDee Lamb? He looks very thin, but he don't play light. He plays strong. I'm a big fan of his skill set. I think Amari Cooper, when he was coming out in the draft, I probably had a little bit higher than I had CeeDee, although I had them both as the top of their class and top 5 to 10 players in their draft class. But I loved Cooper's route running and the fact that you couldn't stay with him. Whereas Lamb, it's more, I love the fact that if the ball is contested or if it's outside or if it's away from him, that it's okay. He'll go pluck it. He'll help you in the red zone. And Cooper's been good in the red zone. So you got maybe the best receiving core in the NFL. They're all a little bit different, but they're all super talented, and the Cowboys are going to be really good at receiver. And then finally, where is the question from Dan on Twitter? He said, how many games do you think McCarthy could win you in a season? 1? 2? And I think back to last year, and again, much like George R.R. Martin writing the Game of Thrones, I'm a pantser. I don't believe in planning for these videos. I just get the questions, and if I like the question, I'll put it up there, and then I start riffing. Last year, I think a special teams coach would have been worth at least 1 game, maybe 2. Mike McCarthy himself, I think, is worth last year at least a game and maybe 2. What was it? The Jets game where they played like cowards. The Viking game where they had some bad decisions down the stretch. The Saints game against Teddy Bridgewater. They played in the super conservative way that they shouldn't have. The Eagles game, but part of that was that Dak couldn't really throw on that day because his shoulder was banged up. But I think that last year, if Mike McCarthy is the head coach, the Cowboys make the playoffs. if Mike McCarthy's entire coaching staff is here instead of Jason Garrett's entire coaching staff, including special teams, defensive coordinator, linebacker coach, then I think you comfortably make the playoffs. So, and I don't know if every city tries to do this, but I believe it here. You know, we've watched this for long enough. Last year was a train wreck. It was a train wreck in terms of players not doing their jobs and coaches not getting along and players and coaches not getting along. The receiver coach can't get along with his best player. It was all they would snap out of hyper aggressive to hyper conservative when they go on the road or when they play against a good team. The Cowboys, there was a lot wrong last year. So I will say McCarthy is worth at least 1 win and probably 2 wins. Now, leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow. I love you guys for that. Love churning out content whenever I have the opportunity. So thank you guys for listening. Make sure you're checking 1053thefan.com every day and that you're subscribed to the YouTube page, youtube.com/Jeff Kavanaugh. And turn on the notifications. I don't want you to miss a video now. I'll see you on the radio here in a bit, all right?